Hello and welcome back. If you've installed TurboWarp on your PC and you open it, you should have something that looks somewhat like this. I have dark mode on, so it might look a bit different. It's just here. So just switch to either light mode or dark mode. And then there's also the add-ons. We'll probably be coming here a lot because as I said, there's a lot of features that TurboWarp has, and you come here to activate most of them. Okay. So we'll be getting into that later on as we go on in the course. But specifically for this tutorial series, I've created a space shooter asset pack. Alright, so you can download that on my itch.io page. I'll leave a link in the description. So you download that, extract the zip file, and then you open it. So we're going to import the sprites now. So here we have the code area. This is the code. These are the code blocks. You can just familiarize yourself with them. After a couple of episodes, or maybe even in this first episode, you should have been pretty used to these by now. By then this is the costumes area where we can create our graphical assets. So TurboWarp and Scratch have an inbuilt graphic editor that you can use to design, create your sprites. Then there's also the sounds. You can import sounds. Then we have the variables section. This might not be there in yours because I had to add it with the add-ons, but you probably won't even need this. Anyways, so let's go to costumes. Then you hover over this button here. It says paint. Then you go to upload costume. Yeah. So navigate, find the file that you need to open, the Horizon Space Shooter assets if you downloaded it, and then just select everything, click open. Alright, so now we're going to be building our spaceship. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, you can see these are the different parts. So let's go to the body. If you look closely, you'll see that there's two of each shape basically, and one has like this even outline around it, kind of like an even bevel, and then this second one has an outline that's thick at the bottom, and then it tapers towards the front and top. So I like this one better because it looks, it looks cooler in my opinion. So I'm going to be using that. So let's select this. Just click and drag over everything to select them all. Then click copy, and we come here, paint a new sprite, and then click paste. Okay, so now we have the body of our ship. Then navigate to one called pre-wings, and then I'm going to use this. Oops. So select both. See that? And then next, let's see the wings. I think I'll use these. Move that in, and then move this, make it line up. Okay, yeah, so you would have noticed that my sprites kind of just snap together. There's these red grid lines that show, and these dots are the points here. You see that red dots down there? So this is because of the costume editor snapping. It's a feature in the add-ons. So you can just go to add-ons, search snapping, and you see costume editor snapping. So you turn this on and then click whichever one you need, or you can just click them all to be safe, and that should help you. So now we want to align this perfectly with this one. Then we'll just use the arrow keys to push it off to the side. You can hold shift and arrow keys to make it move faster. Okay, make sure it's perfectly lined up here. Alright, now we select them both and send to the back. Now we can color it in. I also created a palette that we can use, which is this is what we're going to use to color all our sprites. So this is for the players, this is for the enemies, planets, and obviously these are not rigid. You can play around with them and then just do whatever you like, but it's just something standard for us to work with without having to do much setup. Okay, so on group, I know why I group those. Then we'll select this red. Also, you can follow this exact same ship I'm building, but I recommend you build something different, something of yours, so it's just something more original. It's going to help you get the hang of it more. Just experiment. You don't have to do exactly the same thing I'm doing. If you want, you can just do the same thing, but whatever works for you. So yeah, we just click on the shape and then click on the paint bucket tool. That automatically just selects the shape. And another way to select the colors is to click here, click on this eyedropper tool here, and then just click on the color you want to use. Okay, so just like that, and then we fill this. Then next, these 4 squares at the bottom here are for the cockpit. So I'm going to pick this blue one here, or let me use the gray. Nah, I think I like the blue better. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Okay, so now that our ship is done, it's fully colored, we can play with the designs a little bit to give it more personality, more character. So one thing we can do is just remove the outline. See, now we can kind of see those highlights better and easier. And it looks, in my opinion, it looks much cooler this way. So we can leave it like this, or we can add something else to it. So let's just group this, copy and paste, move that to one side. Another thing you can do is increase the outline. Okay, and then make the outline for each part. And group this and select. Make the outline for each part a darker version of the base color. And that's another nice design. Alright, so we group this, copy and paste. So another thing you can do is have like a really thick outline for the base, and then put another layer on top that doesn't have any outlines at all. So you just bump this up to, like, let's say 10. And for this, hope you guys can follow along. Another way to copy the sprites is to just hold Alt and drag. That makes it faster. So now that we've taken the outline of this base one, just put this one on top and then remove the outline completely. See that? That's another style we can do. Group this, copy, paste. Okay. So now we can also isolate the different parts. So ungroup all of them and select these two, move them to the front, and then keep those at the back. So then we can that's maybe a problem. Well, let's just copy these two so it automatically comes to the front. Delete this. Perfect. Move this to 10. So we can just go ahead and group that. Group. And then we copy and paste it somewhere else. See that? That's another style you can do. You can even make these outlines either black or make them white. See how cool that looks. Okay, so I'm just gonna duplicate this. So yeah, I name these as extras. So let's just make this player, and then for the player I think I will just use this plain simple one, or you can use whichever one you want to use. I'll just keep it simple. Okay, so after that, you can add a bunch more features to your ship. There's lots of other parts. And if you want, you can go ahead and create a bunch of other spaceships too. Okay, so I just paused the video and went ahead and created a bunch of other ships. So this one I call the vector, and it's animated, so there's 2 frames. These electric looking parts can be found in the wingtips and connectors. Oh, right here. I'm already there. That's these things. And you can color them, whichever color you want. I just use turquoise because it looks more electric. So that's the vector. This one I call the stellar vulture because it kind of looks like a vulture. This is called the space formula because it looks like a Formula 1 race car. And the star slicer, also animated. We have Skyrim, galactic torpedo, the glacier, also animated. We have the star dragon, the stellar glider, and then arrowhead. So there's 2 variations of the arrowhead. I think I'll use this one. So let's just go ahead and delete that one. Don't mind the noise in the background, that's just my colleagues horsing around. Okay, so now let's just quickly animate the ones that need animating. Okay, so we'll go to the code area now, and then this my variable, we can just convert it to animation, and then we set animation to 1. Wait 1 second, or wait, let's say 0.5. This is 0.1 seconds, and then we set animation to 2. Okay, then we create another sprite, another variable, and use this as ship name, or just ship, whichever one works. Both work. So now you notice that the image frames or the images are called costumes in Scratch. So we'll go to the looks here. We'll say switch costume to, and this is a really fun, nifty trick that we're going to be using a lot. We'll say switch costume to ship name, and then put this in a forever block from the control menu. So we put this here. So we can change ship name to fire blade. Click that. Oh, I set animation, not ship name. Ship name to fire blade. Can you see it changed immediately to our first ship, which is one I call the fire blade. If we change the ship, set ship name to vector, and then it switches to vector. Okay, so now to make it animated, we also put this in a forever block, and then to make this accommodate the animation, we add a join block to it. So we'll say join animation, then ship name, join ship name animation, and then put this here. So now when we click and we activate this, you can see it only switched once. Why? Because this is setting animation to 1 and then setting it to 2, whereas there's no 1 in here. Excuse the goats bleating in my background. So, oh god. So next, anyway, the reason is because this block makes it, it shows exactly what the costume name should be. So if we set animation to 1, this currently shows vector 1, and there is no vector 1 in here. There's only vector and vector 2. Okay, so we can just set this to blank and then animation to 2, and now it should work. Yeah, you can see the electric parts are kind of moving, but that's still way too slow. So let's just make this 0, 0. Yeah, that moves so much faster now. Okay, to make it more visible, let's go to the backdrops, add a background. Let's make this blue, dark blue, like the night sky, like space. So now it's much easier to see the lightning parts, though some of the other parts of the ship are kind of blending with the background. But anyway, let's just quickly rename this as player. So now we can set the ship name, set this to Fireblade. And stop this. Oh. So the costume names are case sensitive, that's why that didn't work. Yeah, so now it's Fireblade. We can change it to Sky Rim. See? So now we can set whatever ship we want it to appear as, and if the ship is animated, it automatically animates. Let's see, Star Slicer works. Glacier. See, that works. So that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, we're going to code the ship to start moving when we press the arrow keys, because now it's just, you know, staying there on the screen without really doing anything. Okay, so that's that. I'll see you guys in the next video.